Hello viewers, you're welcome to Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. Viewers, Nigeria just celebrated her 63rd independence celebration, and it is indeed a moment where we need to reflect on the happenings, on how far we have gone, our achievements as a nation. We should also acknowledge our challenges as a nation and also think of a way forward towards achieving a brighter future. With me in this studio today is my co-anchor, Na Douglas. Na, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nigerians, and welcome to 9 News. You asked for it, and here it is.
Join us as we reflect on Nigeria's rich history, where we are now, where we are heading to, and with me in the studio to unpack this very important discussion, I have two astute gentlemen in the studio, and to my immediate right, I have Dr. Alex Mayanga, MNI. He is a political analyst and an astute educationist. Sir, you're welcome to 9 News Nigeria on Issues in the News.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Nigerians.
And to my second right, I have with me in the studio Dr. George Monye. He is also a public affairs analyst and educationist, as well as a very renowned author. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you, Nigerians.
So this is Issues in the News, sir. Nigeria just celebrated our 63rd independence celebration. I'd like to take on you, Dr. Alex.
Yes.
What are some of the historic key milestones and achievements Nigeria has experienced in its 63 years of independence?
Okay, thank you very much, and once again, thank you, Nigerians. Well, usually it's been said that Nigeria has gone through a checkered history. A checkered history in the sense that we have witnessed a democratic government, we have witnessed military government, and we have gone back to a democratic government. So Nigerian history is checkered, like I said. So it's a good development that Nigeria, for these 63 years, is matured in age, historically. But for other things, we still have some reservation. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Mr. George. What would you like to add to that?
As to the progress made so far?
Yes, the key historic milestones and achievements Nigeria has experienced in its 63 years of independence.
Wow, I think I align with my Oga here, but at the same time, I also, you know what people say generally everywhere. They say Nigeria has not achieved anything at all. You know, that's what people say if you go and meet them in the public, anywhere. Nothing. We're still at zero level. Nothing. We're just. That is not true. If somebody writes an exam and it's scored maybe 20 over 100. The person is not at zero level, but the person didn't pass. It's not a pass mark. It's
person
failed, woefully, but yet it's not at zero level. So Nigeria is not totally at zero level. There has been some milestones, like you have said, and then, but people don't. I'm sorry to say, people don't want to acknowledge the little achievement, so that we can, from that little achievement, begin to work towards achieving more. They just cancel everything, that nothing is at zero level. So I think that notion, people should correct it. If we continue saying like that, we'll keep ourselves at zero level. Permit me to say this. Somebody said somewhere that he said that many people, they will manufacture something, and then they will write that they will put it there, made in Italy, made in Germany. He said all the good blessings and the goodwill, things that should go to Nigeria, the manufacturer, Nigerians, it will be going to Italy, it will be going to Germany. You see now, but that if you say it as it is, made in Onitsha or made in so and so, then one day something more good will come to Nigeria. So that's how we should look at it. We know that we're not at where we are supposed to be. There's a real failure, but at the same time, let's acknowledge the little milestone and then begin to pick it up from there.
Dr. Alex, talking about 63rd independence of Nigeria, you know, there seems to be a paradigm shift. You know, back in the days when we were still in primary school, maybe 2 weeks before the independence, you see the booze, you see the razzmatazz, you see the joy, victory and everything. We go to the stadium, march past and all that. But that seems to be fading away. What is really happening?
Yeah, before I answer your question, I think I want to also a little disagree with my friend here.
Okay.
Because you know, as a teacher, if you score 20%, you have failed.
Yeah.
And nobody will acknowledge you or begin to say you have achieved something. I mean, that is an emotional, you know, argument to the whole thing. If you have scored 20%, you have failed. And so if Nigeria has scored 20%, Nigeria has failed. Because Nigeria has contemporaries. There are countries that we have to learn from. We have facts that Malaysia came here to take nuts, palm nuts, and today Malaysia is leading.
Doing better.
Yes, doing better in palm produce.
Sure.
And all that are attached to these palm trees that we have in abundance. And so Nigeria is right now, you know, importing palm oil. So, I mean, you can't begin to say the razzmatazz that you said before the independence that has virtually disappeared is also coming from, you know, the government herself. You know, most of these few years we have had the government say this celebration is low-key. This celebration is low-key. For the past 10 years, it has been low-key.
Perhaps because there's nothing to celebrate.
There's nothing to celebrate. That's why they have to low-key it, so to say. If there's something to say, we roll out the drums. So the government themselves, or the government itself, or herself, knows that it is not, you know, a good story to write home.
But talking about the low key, could it be connected or linked to the bomb blast that happened during the Jonathan?
I mean, there has not been any bomb blast.
On Independence Day.
No, there has not been any bomb blasts after that one. So we cannot continue in that, you know, trajectory. I don't think it's a fact. I mean, the government itself is telling you, say, man, I'm not doing very well. Please, let's handle this. Well, maybe they will want to conserve funds. But there are other strategic ways to conserve funds themselves. Right? So the government needs to do quite a lot. They have to shred themselves. They have to cut down their beats. We'll come to that, I guess.
Okay, Dr. Alex, let me take on you again. In what way have we progressed economically as a nation?
Okay. Economically, because the economic indices are there, you juxtapose your currency with other currencies. And so once you do that, you begin to see that, yes, we have not progressed economically. In fact, we are going down the drain. For instance, you discover that the present exchange rate is $1 to about 950 naira.
Almost 1,000.
No, 1,014.
Well,
yesterday.
Yes. So you see, that is an update. You know, so in that, if you any economy in that wise, I mean, you can't say the economy is doing well. The Nigerian economy is not doing well. That's what I would want to submit.
Dr. George, do you think we have fared well as a nation, socially and politically?
Not at all.
Okay.
Why do you say so?
Yes, why I've said so is that I still stand on what I said before, that Nigeria has not passed. It's failure, but then it's some slight achievement as there. That's that. But at the same time, but for your question now, that do I think Nigeria has failed well? Not at all, because the reason is that the pains are being felt. If you go and feel the pulse of everybody, you discover that they are not happy. They are not saying that, and what they are saying, they are not just saying it just for saying sake. It is because of what they are feeling. The economy is so biting on them, and it's continuous. It's unabated. instead of the thing to come down or reduce for some time, the thing keeps on skyrocketing. So that's why we can say that there is not really any good thing.
Let me add a rider.
Yes,
You see, first of all, before you want to compare, you would also look at what do you have? What does Nigeria own? What is buried in this country for Nigeria and for Nigerians? First of all, what is buried, what is given to this country is massive. And so, since it's massive, you juxtapose that with the rate of development. You would want to weep for this country.
Sure.
You would want to cry for this country. So Nigerians are saying that where we are, we ought not to be there if we are strategic enough. Everything is weather, land, mineral, whatever is deposited in this country. So we are not so, can you imagine carrying coal to Newcastle? Can you imagine a country that dig out their crude oil and carry it on their head, to other countries, filter it there, and carry it again back to this country? I mean, it's sad.
Yes, coming to that, it is said by the National Assembly that over 10 trillion naira has been spent on maintenance work of our refineries, President, and all that. Do you think there is politics going on about this refinery?
Oh, yeah.
One man has also built a refinery
Yes,
in recent
yes.
times.
But even the one man that has built a refinery, we have crude here. The one man that has, the report says that that one man is importing, exporting or importing, crude from, is it Angola, for his own refinery in Nigeria, where the crude is buried here. So, I mean, again, those who are importing this refined fuel for us could be a syndicate against the development, of the petroleum industry in Nigeria. It could be a syndicate. Oh, yes, because so because if you say you begin to refine here, those who are importing, they will be, they will lose their jobs. So the government also has to pry their eyes into that area too.
Okay, Dr. George, comparatively, how do you think we have fared in the international community over the past 6 decades?
Well, over the past 6 decades, in the international community, I would say that the reflection is that what is happening here is reflecting also in the international community.
Okay.
Now, what do I mean by that? Nigeria is signatory to a lot of conventions, international conventions, and which ordinarily we're supposed to domesticate here and then ensure that those things are actually working. But we can see that we just have the name that we are this, we are that, we are
the giants of Africa, aren't we?
We are, but just in name. So those, let me give you one example. For example, now, right here in Nigeria, by now we ought to have gone very far in terms of domesticating what the ILO convention on involving the loose economy. You see, to bring them, yes, because to bring them in and create a social system, social scheme for them, whereby, and that would have gone a long way to have reduced poverty. You see now, that's it. So, but that has not been done, and then we just go with our this country. We just go. We're represented here and there, but I've just given one example, but there are others like that, whereby we have not really.
So comparatively, we are not faring too well
at all as well.
Okay, Doctor,
let me add something. Your foreign activities starts from your home. Whatever you are doing abroad starts from here. So first of all, your home must be, put in order before you go outside. The Nigerian image is not very good abroad. For instance, let me cite a very simple example. Like during the last administration, there was this the aviation matter that a plane from or an aircraft from Ethiopia, was rebranded and said Air Nigeria, and brought here to this country. And later it was discovered that actually there was nothing like that. And it was an Ethiopian airline or aircraft that was rebranded for it to answer that day. So your foreign image starts from your own home. So if you do something like that, what would you think somebody abroad, even those you are going to market to please come and invest here, would they take you for truth? No, they wouldn't.
So talking about what you're saying about the fact that everything is going, do you think there is hope for this country?
There is hope for this country to have good leaders who are patriotic, who are learned.
But sometimes these leaders also shift the blame to the masses, that they don't.
The followership.
The followership, that they don't vote the right people.
You see, even politicians have even described Nigerians as those who are very easy to manage.
How do you mean, sir?
They have said Nigeria is a group of people that you can easily, rule, and they would obey you, and they will follow you.
Even when the conditions are not favorable?
If Nigeria were not good people to are not good followers, we know there are some level, some percentage of bad followership. But we're saying that and if not, by now there would have been a revolution in this country. But they are good people. They are waiting. They are hoping that one day,
suffering and smiling,
yes, suffering and smiling, as he said, will end.
All right, Dr. Alex, still on you. What steps do you think can be taken to address these worrisome issues like corruption, infrastructure development, security, to pave a way for a brighter future for our country?
First of all, I would, on a very serious note, I would want to align myself with those in the school of restructuring the country. So I want to align myself with those the school of thought that Nigeria needs a restructured, polity. For instance, the National Assembly is a big burden on this country.
A big burden?
Yes, a big burden in the sense that the money, those two houses needed to be collapsed into one parliamentary system.
A unicameral?
Yes. And in addition to that, they should sit on part-time basis. We don't need a secondary school legislators where for 5 years you pack your bag and baggage, you come and stay here and start and stay as students. No, they should be very well employed group of people. They come part-time, and when they see it, they are paid and they go back home. That's what, look, I think there was this error that was made. They thought that the economy of Nigeria will continue the way it was when the constitution was drafted. They thought that the oil will continue to boom. And now today oil is no more booming. In fact, it's looming. And so because of that, we need to restructure. We need to restructure. And we need to bring, competitiveness, to the polity. For instance, the states are lackadaisical. Lackadaisical in the sense that every month they are sure of their salary, so to say, quote and unquote. Quote and unquote in the sense that every month they know that something is coming to the state. So there is no need to be creative. It is said that necessity is the mother of invention. And so if there is no necessity that you are sure of something at the end of the month, why do you need to crack your brain, to think out from the box to get your economy of your state running? We need to create that, scenario where states have to compete. They have to work for what they will get for their people.
Dr. Monye, it is said that every state in Nigeria has what it takes to feed the nation. In fact, to feed Africa. Every state in Nigeria. Do you think, talking about coming to Abuja every month to collect, with Ghana must go to, receive salary and all that, as president, would you recommend that the constitution be, amended, that should be struck out?
Well, what I would not necessarily that should be struck out immediately, but it should be a gradual step. Let me tell you, for some time now, the states have been spoon-fed. This is the situation. They have been spoon-fed a lot. They are collecting money from the federal government. They are also collecting. There are times they cannot meet up, and the World Bank gives them some support. You see now, there's this SEFTAS. World Bank created that money, and they all collected. And but World Bank gave them strict conditions that we want to see. Please put it on your website. Show us that and submit to us too. We want to be sure that you have this. The conditions were many. Some of them had to run up and down to meet up with the conditions. Some of them, first of all, discarded we can't meet up with the condition. No. Let's leave it. Later they saw that others are doing it too. Let's go and collect this money. So they tried to meet up with that money. And not only that, apart from the sectors, the federal government, the World Bank gave them another money. They call it NGKS. I don't know whether you have heard about it. Yeah. It's a big money. They distribute to all states around and FCT. And so they should now go back and begin to work on their internally generated revenues. They seem not to want to do anything about it. And they have a lot of ways they can generate revenues. So gradually, then the federal government should start withdrawing all those other support.
All right, gentlemen, we can go on and on, but we really need to go on a short break now. I know it has been an interesting time so far. Viewers, don't go away. We need to go on a short break, and we will be back and continue this discussion. Thank you.
We're trying to make sure that youths, young people, no matter your class, you have somewhere to live in Abuja, where we've started working and we're waiting on you to giving you the opportunity to buy a land here. Very, very affordable. I cannot overemphasize that. One of the problems we have is that people are selling land in Abuja for too high. That's why some people think that they cannot afford land. So I'm giving you this opportunity. I'm giving everyone opportunity to get a house in my estate. We are working tirelessly to make sure that this place becomes the future of residency in Abuja. You watch, see down there, we started building down there. All this building here, started building in all these areas. So you also can come and join us here, buy a land here, we'll give you the guideline, and then you start. From here to the express is about 2 minutes. You watch, you see that mark over there, that's the express. And then from there to the airport is like another 5 minutes. So from the airport, just driving to your house. You don't have to go all into the city, you know. From here, you can't miss your flight from here. From Mackenzie, give the state, you cannot miss your flight. Look at this beautiful site here. So imagine you're living here and you wake up in the morning and you see beautiful things. Guys, we're giving you the opportunity to come here and live. The prices are on the screen, very affordable. Just buy a piece of land here and start building. You have beautiful neighbors. You have great neighbors down there. Okay, no, I don't want to mention names. There are very great people that are living over there. Guys, we're coming out with the most affordable, in fact, most affordable home you can own in the city of Abuja. So watch out, and this is the biggest opportunity you will ever have if you're looking to invest in a business that will bring you plenty returns. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is like.
Viewers, you're welcome back. This has been Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. And in this exploration, we have been looking at Nigeria at 63. And with me in the studio, I have had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Alex Mayanga, MNI, a political analyst and an astute educationist. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Also in the studio, we have Dr. George Monye. He's also a public affairs analyst, an educationist, and also an author. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Na Douglas is here with me as usual. Na?
Thank you, Nigerians, for still staying with us.
The journey so far. We want to be looking at the strides in the various sectors, the hurdles confronting us, and what we can do as a nation to propel us to the next level. But in all this, there have been itches here and there. Dr. Alex, in very recent times, there has been this issue of certificate forgery. What would you make out of the Chicago Saga and its effects on us as a nation?
Yeah, thank you very much. That sat gate has maybe some people who want to coin it. I've read, heard all about that saga concerning, our #1 citizen in the country. And I begin to reflect about it. After not knowing what is the true situation, because some persons are saying this, some persons are saying that, when I synthesize all, I say, since it's sub judice, I would not want to make an absolute conclusion. But I want to say that we'll look at the dynamics of that, saga. What are we going to learn? So for us, and I think for Nigerians, there are 3 areas, for instance, that we have to look at. INEC has to, therefore, begin to properly scrutinize whatever document is submitted to its office. Point 1. Secondly, the National Assembly, they have to look at the act, for the Electoral Act 2022, and begin to see also and make that very formidable, so that it will be very difficult, for you to have a loophole to bring in whether it's forged, certificate or forged, document. And finally, point 3 is that the presidency also, with what has happened, they are virtually almost carrying a moral burden, a burden of proof of innocence, a burden of proof of truthfulness. Is it a fact that, yes, Mr. President attended a school, and graduated at a point where the school was not in existence? Is it a fact? If it's a fact or it's not a fact, there is that moral burden that the presidency is carrying. And it is unfortunate. It's not like we talked about our image. It is not good for the image of this country. It is not good for the image of this country. I think there is quite a lot for Nigerians or government to learn from this.
Well, good thing that we have educationists in the studio and talking about sensitive issues like school certificate. Now, Dr. Moye, when we talk about a serving minister once said that because this is not the first time the president is, Nigerian president is facing the issue. Even the immediate past president also faced same issue. Now he came out to say that it doesn't matter that one can be at home, that during those days the current president was a brilliant student, that he even obtained his while at home. But of course, the issue of the government college thing and all that, where is this putting, especially the young ones coming up? Where is the situation right now? Because a lot of people, maybe because they are part of the government, they are coming to defend what is happening right now. So where is this, as an educationist, putting the younger ones coming up?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, where it is putting, it's unfortunate that whatever we are hearing now, whether it is so or it is not so, but it shouldn't be at all. Also, where it is putting the young ones coming up now is that some might even, you heard about that little girl that the doctor that score in JAM, you know, and where it is putting the youth these days is that, okay, in future I can do this, I can do that. That is where it is putting them. Except the judiciary will endeavor to do the right. Yes, and then the rule of law be placed on ground, and whoever is affected should just agree that, okay, I'm sorry, I did wrong. That's all. And then so that we can make progress.
Do we really need certificates in order to be able to rule this country? Is it really a matter of the certificate now?
No, it's not quite the matter of certificate, but you need education to rule, to lead. You need, even in warfare, you need a map reader to help you to navigate to where the enemy is. You see, if you are not educated, sir or ma, you see, they bring very critical issues for you, you will be unable to decode it. We have had stories of American leaders who will finish a novel before the next day. They read very well. If you are not educated, you cannot, if you don't have light, you can't give light to other people. So we need education. But we are not saying we need forged certificate. You get the point? He mentioned the issue of school. It also behoves on schools to keep adequate records of their institutions. In fact, in these days of computer, everything should be properly, all records of students. And of course, that's why I think in recent time, WAEC or JAM begin to see that your passport is imbued in whatever document they are giving to you. And then over the time, we'll get over that. But I do know that there was a story of a place they call in Lagos, they call it Oluwole. Oluwole, they say you can get even certificate from Oxford. You can get from York University. Anything, any kind of certificate you can get. So that were in those days. So I think it behoves on Nigerians and the education industry, to keep proper, records, of the students that pass through their meal.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Yes,
Dr. George. What are the major challenges and obstacles as a nation that we are facing right now? And how do you think we can get out of it? I know you have talked I would want you to emphasize on corruption. Corruption. How do we get out of corruption?
Yes, corruption is one of them. It's a major challenges.
Yes.
Okay, we can reel out a few. Lack of rule of law. Yes, lack of rule of law. It is if lack rule of law is in place, corruption will fall aside. Yes, because sometimes we are holding a meeting somewhere in a German organization here, and the person heading the organization, a German, said that's about 6 years ago. Said the problem you people are facing in Nigeria, if it's in our country in Germany, even whoever does anything wrong, the person will be. If the person needs to be jailed, will be jailed. That there's no going back about it. And if somebody, let's say a leader, the relation or wife, does anything wrong, There's nobody that over there, nobody will say, it's my daughter, it's my sister, please release her. No, they will not listen. That person will be dealt with according to the law. But it's not so here. If somebody will come up and they say, excuse me, what does it take? How much do you want to collect? I will collect some, and then the person
swept under the carpet.
Or they will plead, but please, I'm the governor of so and so state. This person is my son or my daughter, and the person will be released. So, rule of law number 1. Number 2, corruption that you mentioned. Yes, that one, you know, for it to be, I've said, yeah, that's another problem, but rule of law will take care of that. Decayed infrastructure are those challenges. There are many. Yeah. Just to mention a few. Lack of good access to roads, poor housing for Nigerians, lack of social amenities, poor standard of education, poor remuneration for workers, you know, and the inequality gap becoming uncontrollably evasive. You see, compliance rate to international conventions is very, very low, like we discussed before. Breakdown in justice, human rights, poor health conditions, despite the basic health care provision fund that has been made available for people. Alarming rate of insecurity, insurgency, banditry, ritualism, rape, kidnapping, etc. Poverty on the increase. Increase in unemployment rate, especially among the youth. Misgovernance or bad governance and bad leadership. Lack of proper planning in Nigeria. Things are not properly put in other way. You know that data, just ordinary data for planning, we don't have it. We don't know how many people, how many children are born within this period and that period. We don't.
Even when we have it, a snake can come in and you know.
Yes.
So
and not just that. Yeah, you have so much challenges that is affecting the country right now. But you know, the president has come out to say, Nigerians, I just came into office, just be patient with me. And the wife has even come out to say, my husband is not a magician. Yeah. So in this, you know, taking a look at what the president said and what the wife said, does it mean that Nigerians should give him that space, that you know, benefit of doubt for him to take Nigeria to heaven? All right.
Number 1, we know. I'm not a politician, yeah, and but we just must say the truth. Now, anybody that gets there, the moment the person starts doing one or two things, you will look at it that it's like this person means well. So that's what we're looking at now as human beings.
You mean he means well?
Yeah, okay. That's what we're, as human beings. So okay. We don't know tomorrow. We don't know next week, next month. Now, the wife saying that my husband is not a magician, she shouldn't have said that. Once you are there, once you are the one that said you want to become a president. Once anybody, even me talking, if I'm there, I must not have any excuse. I must be ready to give what it takes. Go every length to ensure we do whatever to help Nigerians. To anybody, but like once you know you can't do anything, then don't go there.
But you know, most of these things you're saying would need time. He's not just going to come and raise a magic one and then repair some things that have stalled for years. It will take time, but people will be following, and then they will also, like Dr. Mayanga said, people will be following, and they will be, you know, what we need in Nigeria. Do you know it? Do you know it? No, tell us.
We make mistakes. Once somebody comes in, we go and relax. So as Tinubu has come in, or whoever is there, you know, we just must come up with people, whether a group of people that will put a proper monitoring of the achievement. You know, whether you are president or governor or whatever. That's what we have not been doing properly. Not just some people doing it secretly. No, we come up and it will be that's scorecard. Yes, proper scorecard. Mr. President, for your 50 days, we thank God this is what you have achieved, but it remains this. You promised this. But so the too will be at alert. Then also to governors and the people of worth, people who are not biased, but who are sincere, will bring it out. That's what we need. So we should, if we can bring out such people to take it up and work like that sincerely, you will see that some of those leaders will be waking up, and you know, and things will become up. Thank you very much,
Dr. Mayanga. One of the major vehicles for national development is to appoint people based on merit. A group has come out to accuse the president that he is making his appointment based on ethnicity and all that. Do you agree with that group?
It's very difficult to say. For instance, there are so many appointments. Are you talking of ministers? If it's ministers, you discover that states have their numbers.
Okay.
For that, you can forgive the president. And of course, again, you also want to sympathize with the president because you have to work with those you know. You have to work with those who are loyal to you, especially your kitchen cabinet.
Okay.
So perhaps because he comes from wherever he comes from, the part of the country, so there is the need or there is that necessity for him to select those who he knows can deliver, for him. So on that basis, it's very difficult to say. All right. So, but I want to, by what you have said, you see, a child that is growing, that is going to grow to maturity, to be responsible. If you put children playing, and as a psychologist, so sit afar. You are going to, from there, you are going to begin to see a leader among them. One of them will say, hey, form cycle. One of them will say, hey, go this way. You know that a leader is coming up from there. Now, I want to sympathize with Mr. President because of some of the missteps that he took. For instance, in this removal of fuel subsidy, to me, as far as I'm concerned, is a misstep. A misstep in the sense that before you remove that kind of economic aspect of the country that affect virtually A to Z of the people, you have to properly plan. Okay. It's not something that will come out from an emotion and say, even out of your speech on your inaugural day, you said from today, fuel subsidy is removed. When you have not set up a think tank to tell you how they will augment or ameliorate, that aspect of the problem that was going to be created. That is a misstep. It's a misstep in governance. We don't expect that from some, because I believe that Mr. President is a very intelligent person. And I sympathize as a linguist. I know the depth of his heart. He means well for this country. But again, those who are surrounding him, who are guiding him, who are advising him, he has to also be very cautious. All right. Otherwise, he wouldn't at that day say, fuel subsidy is removed.
But in Nigeria, we kept saying those who are advising him. Of course, those are not the people we elected into office. The president was elected. So blaming.
You know what Gowon said? Gowon said when he was removed, of course, he cited Macbeth. The world is a stage, where a poor player comes, and it's like a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Gowon cited that a president itself is not a bad person, but those that are surrounding him. And of course, those that are surrounding him are the most wicked, because they want to speak to president what he wants to hear.
Not what he needs to hear.
Not what he needs to hear. That is the problem.
Okay, Dr. Mayanga, again, it is in a program like this that the president can get to hear advices from very blatant and truthful people like you.
Yeah.
What message do you have for him in this current state where we are as a nation that would move us forward?
Yeah, I think my advice to Mr. President is that he has, history has it that he was a member of the NEDECO. He was a member of those who are agitating, for the betterment of this country. And here is a golden opportunity for him now to actualize that. And I know one of the key points that the NEDECO people were talking about was the restructuring of this country. Yeah. And now that he has the opportunity, he should begin to do the groundwork, for this country to be restructured. It can come from various dimensions. And I mentioned one before. This National Assembly is too cumbersome for the country in view of the present rate of our economy. Unless the economy improves, then we can afford to have those, two houses where one house, can cover it.
Okay.
So my advice to Mr. President is that he should begin to put in motion, things that will make sure that each part of the country begin to compete for growth and national development.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Moye.
Yeah, my advice to the president.
Yes.
Right, my advice to the president is that the president, is someone, if you look at it very well, he has started by choosing very thorough people. In the selection he made, that's a pass mark. Yes. That's that. So I will advise that he should please also endeavor to say that, those who were opposing him strongly, I saw that he was trying to make peace with them. He should continue in that spirit. Yes, otherwise, he should continue that spirit of making peace with those who are opposing him strongly, so that he can be learning from whatever opposition or whatever challenge or corrections they are making. Another area is that the Mr. President should also look at, generally in this country, we don't look at one area things are lopsided. That area is that, so Mr. President should look at it and correct it. The input of civil servants is reduced, completely reduced. Not only in the FCT here, also in all the states and local government. Go to early in the morning, check up. People will be, a civil servant will be leaving their house around 10 o'clock to go to office. Ask them why. They say, you don't you see the situation? Don't you see that they so whatever it is, all those things, apart from the situation in the country, even when things were normal, an average civil servant, only very few will resume by 8. Very go and check in all the offices, and let them keep a time book. Then also, it is reducing their input into the growth of the economy. At the same time, too, in the go to the local government states, you see that some don't even go at all. So they should correct that. Then finally, it should see how to galvanize together the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. That has not been. I don't see any president that has endeavored to. So he should come up and see how to bring those three together, and then make sure for the progress of this country.
You can't bring that together because they are supposed to go
at
parallel line.
Yeah.
For separation of
Powers.
Yeah. So the president cannot galvanize them.
No. Okay.
If you talk about galvanizing them, you're asking the president to begin to see how he will subject the judiciary.
No.
Subject
That's not the intention. The intention is this. Okay. The executive is there. The legislatures, they are there.
The
judiciary, they are there. It's not a matter of, if I use the language galvanizing, well, that's not what I meant, but it's ensuring that they work. They are to correct one another.
You should ensure they are independent.
They are independent, and then there's some harmony.
Okay.
There's some harmony. The harmony may not be 100%. It's not that if it's 100%, then there's no check and balance.
Okay, Dr. Mayanga, one message to Nigerians. This is our 63rd independence as a nation. What message do you have for Nigerians in just a minute?
You see, my message to Nigeria is that we should undo the issue, the pathological issue of religion, the pathological issue of ethnicity. We should do away with it and build a country. We've needed to build this country. We have no other country, like I said, like Nigeria. Nigeria is the best of all countries in Africa and abroad. You know what? A French president once said, I think it's Charles de Gaulle, he said if he had a country like Nigeria, he would rule the whole world. So my advice to Nigeria is that they should keep the faith. But at election time, let them not enslave themselves by being bought over. And it's a strong message to Nigerians. Let it not be a pot of porridge. That please, at any opportunity to elect whoever you want to elect, let you be guided by your conscience. Vote who you feel is going to deliver for you. And if you permit me, I want to speak that to my people in Kogi State, that as we are waiting for 11th November for that election, they should vote for who they want to deliver for them, irrespective of where it comes from. And they should forget about being bought over, or giving a cup of rice, or a cup of gari, or a pinch of salt. Because that salt will insult them.
It's always really interesting, and often when we are rounding up like this, it's as if we shouldn't, but for lack of time, we have to draw the curtains here. Viewers, I hope you have had a very interesting and insightful time with us. It is Nigeria at 63. Don't give up on our dear country. We're going forward. Our social media handles are down there. Please hit the like buttons and drop a comment for us. And stay tuned until we come your way next time. This has been Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. My name is Sibyl Doite. And with me on today's program has been Nat Douglas. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.